All right, moment of truth.
Hi, I'm George the Antique Nomad. Come with me as I wander the country in search of valuable vintage, amazing antiques, and cool collectibles. We'll buy, sell, and trade at antique malls, shops, and shows, estate sales, flea markets, thrift stores, anywhere people go to find really interesting things that just aren't made anymore. So come on, let's go!
Hey everybody, it's George the Antique Nomad, and if I look like I just got back from the beach, well, it's true, I did, because I took a little break this morning to go to Fort DeSoto Park in the very, very south end of St. Petersburg, right by the entrance to Tampa Bay. And the reason I came here is because I have work to do this afternoon because I just got the keys to a house where we will be conducting an estate sale in just about 10 days. So it's my first time in the house since I met the trust attorney, and I've just gotten the key. I'm curious to see what's left and what we have to do. It's a pretty full house. All right, I think it's this key here. Nope, must be the other one. All right, moment of truth. This gal was single and is leaving most of her things to charity, so very little should be gone. I expect that they left almost everything other than personal papers and maybe a few keepsakes that she promised to friends or people that she knew. So we've got a wall full of art here, and there's definitely an Asian flair to this wall. I think she traveled quite a bit because actually there's a combination of some Asian bits like these little nesting tables here, and a lot of American things as well. These are kind of neat with the scenic relief in the hard stone. This is something that we see done over, well, a very, very long time, but these are going to be 1970s, I would say, by the design. She also had some of her parents' furniture, so it's going to be an eclectic mix of antiques, collectibles, vintage, and this little display table, which I think is really cool, is full of paperweights. I'm not sure exactly who made them. That snowflake one I think might be Orifors. It looks like a lot of these are studio glass, so that'll be a fun collection to look through. Let's see what else we have. We have a very nice scroll here. This looks mid-century, but it's very elaborate in terms of its design. It's got an entire village of people working at various things, from parades to sports to maybe a little bit of actual work going on there, but it looks like they're just having fun. This is a very pretty 1930s, 20s, 30s era burled maple veneer dining set, and I think it's just really pretty. We're going to take pictures of that and try to start selling this in advance. Usually we have a lot of snowbirds here, but it's a little light this year so far because of the way the calendar fell. We're expecting them soon, hopefully by sale time. Snowbirds rent places for 3 to 6 months and oftentimes furnish them, so we may have to sell the furniture locally. I see some Goebel blue and yellow birds up there. A nice chocolate pot that's painted in roses. My guess is that might be Limoges. Let's see if we can see what the bottom says here. Yes, it is Limoges. I see some other mugs that might be from a cider set, so we'll see if we have a main bowl for that. Some sweet little landscape paintings. Her tastes were very eclectic. I see some pretty glass in here. A lot of it is etched. But these blue pieces are Duncan and Miller's Caribbean. This was the pattern I originally wanted to collect when I first got in the business and discovered how beautiful glass was. But at the time it was very expensive. I couldn't afford it, so I collected Manhattan glass, which was not elegant glass, but depression glass. and had the straight lines because it had the same general effect. And I've enjoyed collecting Manhattan glass a lot, but it's neat to see the Caribbean. This is Portmerion. I believe there's an entire set of Portmerion, and I mean a big set. You only see the one pot here, but the salt dips surrounding it. There's a nice piece of cut glass in the corner and some Heisey lariat glass here. But I noticed that she even has the tablecloths and linens that go with the Portmerion. Portmerion was really big in the late 80s and early 90s. I did see a slip on the table that indicates to me that the local auction gallery already got whatever there was in silver and jewelry, which of course is unfortunate for me because silver and jewelry are easy to sell, so it's always nice to have those. But I do see a lot of nice linens. These are very nicely embroidered. These Chinese throw pillows here, that's all silk embroidery. You've got the peacock there. I don't see anything with the forbidden stitch, which is more valuable. It was forbidden because at one time it was a certain type of stitchery that was only allowed to be made for the royalty. Here we have some more Goebel birds. A Royal Worcester egg coddler. I see various English cups and saucers. These lamps, and I saw another one, I believe there's a pair, are made by Peters and Reed in Zanesville, Ohio. So these are early 1900s, but they have really nice shades. She kept things pretty well. I think this is going to be a fun sale, and the condition of things are good. Hello, everybody. There is the bow knot mirror, very typical 1930s design, very cute. Those are good sellers. And here's a nice little chest. I like the dining room furniture because it's stately, but it's not huge. And the burl maple gives it a little different interest, so I think it might be more saleable. A Japanese screen with the stonework again. Looks like she had the quarter collections. I guess they didn't take those because they're not silver. But hey, quarters are money and we'll sell money. I see a Culver chip and dip set sitting randomly on this chair. And then a very nice oak pedestal. That's going to be from about 1910. So this estate is great because there will be lots of things to dig out, but a lot of it is right here where we can see it on the surface and it's already kind of displayed. Again, she did like clear glass, but she's got some nice pieces. These little books here. Okay, this one's Masonic. This one is a Bible. Safe Counsel. Ex Libris. What is Safe Counsel about? Okay, this is 1865. And this apparently is talking about all sorts of things like the value of your reputation. Home amusement and home power. There's a nice home from the 1860s that looks a lot like where Abraham Lincoln lived in Illinois. Here is a prayerful and devoted mother. So all you moms out there, this is what you should aspire to be. Bonnet optional. The toilet, I'm sure they're talking about grooming, not the actual toilet. Talking before marriage. Talking is allowed. Grabbing face is questionable. Kissing, well, we're not actually showing that. But there's a whole section on how to be a good wife. I'm sure this is chock full of great suggestions. Love your husband, but that's number 2 after reverence for your husband. Do not conceal your love from him. Cultivate the modesty and delicacy of your youth, and personal attractiveness, and physical attractiveness. Ah, yes, the same old things that everybody gets hung up with now. It does say the husband should help the wife bear her burdens, so that's at least pretty progressive for 1865. Anyway, I could get caught reading this for ages. That looks very fun and interesting. We'll have to look up that. Another Bible. And this looks like another Bible, yes. And then this little, is this a photo album? That would be nice. No, it's a very old book, though. This very old book is, oh, another Bible. This is the Polyglot Bible of the Old and New Testaments with marginal readings included. The blue glass here, this is an 1890s pattern in a very pretty color. It's similar to Francis ware, but it isn't Francis ware, and I have to be honest, I don't quite remember the name of this pattern. We'll have to look that up. We do have some cut glass here. The question is it an American Brilliant period where it's so sharp that it almost cuts you to touch it, or is it after? And I would say these are after. These are probably 1920s pieces where it's a little bit more machined. We may have a signature on top of this handle here. It's a little dim in here, so we'll have to do some more research there. You always look for the signatures to appear in funny clear spots on the glass. It could be on the side, it could be on the handle, it could be on the bottom, but it's not going to be where there's a lot of design because they didn't want to try to etch over a designed area. Inside here, well, there'll be lots of things to go through. Looks like more linens and doilies and table items. Here's a bunch of the Portmerion Botanic Garden boxes. It's for bread knives and things. Boy, she had a really extensive service of this. Lots of little things in boxes that we'll go through eventually. This is my first time looking in these drawers, so I'm just trying to get a cursory look with you, and then we'll come back and show you. Oh, there's a different set of china. Who made this one? We'll show you how it progresses as it goes. Oh yes, this is Noritake, and it's pre-war. Cute pattern. The pre-war patterns are a little more likely to sell. All right, so let's go past the front door here. We've got a banjo thermometer on the right. A Whiting and Davis bag I see sitting right there on top of this guy. He will probably go outside because he's plastic. This place is pretty crowded. There's a whole bunch of slides, and you know, slide collections can be interesting depending on where they went and what it was about. There's the carousels and the projector. So we'll have to see if there's any good, interesting travel stuff, or they went to places that aren't there anymore, or things like that. This looks like it has an artist signature that I can't quite make out in this light, but we'll come back to that. Okay, now this case has been cleared out some, so whatever was here is gone, but we will use it to showcase other things because there's plenty in here. We have an 1890s Eastlake settee. We have another stack of nesting tables I see under here, and these look like they have the leather tops. You know, this is going to be fun for resellers because there's so much here, and we really have to try to get this done in one weekend. So we are going to price it to sell, and resellers should have a blast at this sale. I see some old photos and a birthday card in there. Bunch of silver plate. Delta Airlines, some sort of a card deck for every single place they flew back in the 70s, and those are going to be of some collector value now, actually. And then a very low shin bashing table there. I don't like that height personally, but they can be good for display. This looks like a nice 1930s old, probably another candy box turned into a dresser box. We've got more furniture here. This is a nice little end table. End tables seem to sell well because people can find room and reason for them. We have some Wedgwood here. It doesn't look like old Wedgwood, but the vase is a very nice shape, and those have some value. The Doors of Ireland. I've seen that poster at another estate sale we did. Here is a kidney-shaped desk. I always like these. We do still have people looking for desks because more people are working at home more, and some people are now going to be permanently working at home, so that might sell. And then these are the heads for the old electric typewriters. That might sell for parts to somebody. Maybe we'll actually find the IBM Selectric typewriter. Now there's a ton of clothes, and she was a mature woman, but she was not heavy. So these are going to be good sizes that fit people. I see some things here that are definitely 1990s vintage, looking at these very wild patterns here. And there may be customers for that now. And then a whole bunch of, looks like general newer Christmas, but we'll see. Maybe there'll be something vintage in there. In here we've got the bathroom. A nice little vanity stool. I like that. One of these fake marble plastic garbage cans. But even in here she has little pieces of furniture. So Oh yes, lots of personal items. I mean, an estate sale is everything. We sell everything. We sell the old stuff, the new stuff, and everything in between. And so, yes, we'll even sell toilet paper. Just think, not too long ago, toilet paper was quite a premium, and we would have made lots of money on that. Here is another closet stuffed with clothes. We're going to have to figure out how we're going to sort out some of this stuff so that there's more room. There's clothes, there's purses, there's accessories. Oh boy, this one's going to be some work, but good work. Lots of backups of toiletries and linens and that sort of thing. I see a bunch of what might be, it looks like old nursery rhymes. Oh, really? Okay, these are Christian service songs. A Pilgrim Hymnal, I grew up with that. 262, A Mighty Fortress is Our God. Our Old Nursery Rhymes. Now that is cute. That looks like it's 1920s or 30s, so let's take a look. We can open it up and see. Sing a Song of Sixpence. Three Blind Mice, and lots of neat illustrations. Children's books do seem to do well, so that's a cutie. And I bet these might be yearbooks here. They certainly look like it from the outside, but we'll get into those. Like I said, we're just giving you a very basic rundown. You and I are seeing this place together simultaneously for the first time, and then we'll come back and we'll show you what we find and how we set up the house. This is a nice bedroom set. The twin beds are a little bit hard to sell, but actually in Florida they're a little easier because a lot of people have guest rooms and people actually have guests down here. Lots of more modern books. These prints are interesting. Again, they have an Asian feel, but the silhouette nature of them makes it something that could go into a lot of different decor, not just strictly Asian decor, so that's useful for us. And yes, here's the empty jewelry box. That makes me a little sad. Looks like they left us a few just very basic pieces, although this is nice. Well, see, that's an older piece with the blue. If it was pools of light, this could be worth a bunch of money. It's not, because it's not polished quartz. This is glass, but it's a pretty color, so someone will like that. And yes, indeed. Yeah, I'm sure this is where the jewelry lived. I see a penny, though. We do save up all the coins, because that goes into the sale, too. Yeah, those all feel empty. So somebody got to this first, like I said, but that's okay. There is enough in here. I'm not too worried. There's a bunch of foundations. The big trick is going to be to separate this clothing from the furniture so that if somebody buys the furniture that we don't have a big mess in the middle of the sale. And again, a lot of the furniture is antique. This is a nice piece that might be with that settee we saw in the other room. We'll have to see if the pattern's the same. This is a pretty painting here. I wonder if this might be a listed artist. Laura M. Howard. I do not know that artist by name, but it's very painterly. I think it seems good, and it looks Floridian, so it could be one of our regional artists. That might be something. Little table here. Oh yes, the Board of Education. Back when it was considered okay to whap kids when they got out of hand. This is nice because, again, it's a chest of drawers, but it folds out into a little secretary desk, so that could be useful for somebody. We'll have to clean it up and take the office supplies and put them in some place where they can have a general price on them. It looks like it's all office supplies in here, so that'll be easy enough. And then we've got this chest of drawers. Yeah, I think this is a three-piece set. There's another chair. I'll bet those match the settee in the other room. Lots of scarves. Well, we'll hope for Hermes or something really wonderful in here, but I have a hunch that they might just be nice and fun prints, but in any event, there's a lot of them, so that should do well. Foundations and lingerie. We have these very bright Mexican painted pieces that are framed. A TV. Flat screen TVs are pretty common now, so they don't go for a ton, but someone will need it. And then there's this. I'm really excited about this. I haven't tried to sell something like this before. I haven't had a marimba in stock before. It's a Genco. It looks like it's 1950s. A wee bit dusty, but very pretty. And, oh, I just love that sound. I'm kind of into jazz music. Cal Jader, who was a big marimba player, is a favorite of mine. So that will be fun. And then we've got more books. She was definitely a reader, and a nice brass music stand. Someone will like that. So, wow, okay. We've got some stuff. It looks like an Italian dresser box here. Anything in it? Oh, some family photos. Again, looks like the jewelry's gone. We've got a Canadian $5 bill here, I see. This is the current one, so we can actually take that to the bank and put it in the account for the estate. The coins we can't take to the bank if they're from out of the United States, but the bills, if they're the current ones, you can cash those in, and they'll, minus a fee, give you the exchange rate for them. All right, so now we're coming into the living room. We have a nice landscape. This is a game table. We'll have to show this properly, which means taking that cover and that lamp off and turning it so it opens up. Basically, the table will turn, you flip open the top, and then that becomes a larger table for playing backgammon or chess or that sort of thing, or just to have a bigger table, which we will need because there is a lot of stuff in here. Look at all these African and Asian figures. There's old candlesticks made of wood. There's a trunk vase up there hiding, I think. I see a ton of books. Some of these that are these National Geographic may have some value. A lot of these can be sold as sets. I think what we'll do is we'll probably take the ones that are not sets off, lower the stuff that's up too high for people to get to down to the lower shelves, and put the general books in boxes where people can root through them, probably outside. We're trying to make sure that we set up the sale so that people have a lot of room, and if there's a thing that is a category where they really are going to take a lot of time looking, we want that to be out where they can see it, where there's a little breeze, where they can stay away from other people. So those are probably going to go out ultimately onto the outside covered porch where the pool is. We'll show you that in a minute. But some of these sets are going to turn out to have some value because they're complete sets. And a lot of people who are buying books these days, even if they're just buying them for display, they like the sets. Aw, here's a garbage can made out of rolled paper, just like my grandmother used to do back in the 60s and 70s. That's cute. And a few little foreign stamp collections. Not high value, but people are interested in those. Bunch of games, sort of all over the place. More furniture, and then here is the kitchen. Now the kitchen has a lot of tins. I don't see anything that looks older, but they're at least cute, so we might be able to get $1 a piece or so for these, because they've got a bunch that are reproductions of old tins or new tins for new products made to look old. There's more of this Botanic Garden by Portmerion there, and I do remember when they showed me this the first time, I did open and I saw pieces in here. And were there some up here? Yes. In fact, I'm going to just go ahead and open these because we will leave them open for the sale. We'll need every inch of display in here because there's the big set, and wow, is there a lot. Quite a lot. So that's good. And then some other dishware. Nice green stems from the 80s there. Down below, I think it's just regular pots and pans and utensils, and I saw a little bit of Revereware. I saw a decent set of stainless flatware. You know, these sets of flatware like this with the Niello work, or the Japanning as they sometimes call it, the darkening there, from the early 70s, these are selling. So we'll put that together and look up that pattern. Sometimes they can go for, you know, $75 or $100 for a set. That's going to be just cleaning stuff down there. And we have another cedar box. Trust attorney was hired to deal with this estate. She was a friend of the gal who lived here. And so that's why they've already been through looking for personal papers and Also, I'm sure coins and jewelry as well. That looks like miscellaneous household stuff, and a lot of it. Yep, looks like just sort of regular things there. We've got a shelf of miscellaneous. We do have an older style blender back here. Those seem to sell, the old Oster blenders. We'll have to check the food to see if any of it is still good or if it's expired. And boy, there are horse brasses all over the place. We've got William Shakespeare on porcelain on this one. We'll have to see if that might be, it looks like Jasperware, but I don't think Wedgwood did this, did they? No, I can't read the name. It's not Wedgwood. But that one's interesting and different, but there's a whole lot of them, and we have a collector who's a viewer who I think will probably like those. And there's a whole stretch of them there, so I'll have to take some pictures. Things up on the top shelf, I do see some old brownware. I see a Spode teapot here. I see some other novelty teapots. We've got the clock, we've got a crock, we've got blue glass jars. A spoon collection here. We'll look through some of these older ones to see if they might be sterling. I have a hunch this one right here is, for example. This is a very blue bathroom. And it looks like there's some perfume, probably just some personal care stuff I'm imagining in here. Oh yes, quite a bit in fact. All right, and what else do we have? Not a whole lot. It looks like they cleaned that out pretty well. Now, booze I am not allowed to sell. I can sell empty bottles. I can give bottles away as a gift with purchase to people who are over 21 and purchase a certain amount, and that's probably what we'll do with those. Oh yes, and there's quite a lot in this little bar too, so I'm not much of a drinker. I used to take things home so I'd have a well-stocked bar. I hardly ever used it. I finally got rid of most of it. Here are a bunch of swizzle sticks. And one more closet to open here. It looks like it'll be a linen closet. Oh, nope. See, you never know where people store their stuff. So there's a big Fenton peach crest. Is that, or is it amber crest? It's hard to tell in this light. Let's see if I can, oh, I don't think I can get it out safely with one hand. It looks like amber, but that's a pretty basket, a nice size. Nice old copper luster from the 19th century. That's a piece of Viking blue neck, I can tell just looking at the top. This was probably done by Picard or one of the gold decorating companies, so there's some older stuff in here. Set of colored cordials, those always sell. Looks like some Pyrex Town and Country, and something in avocado, and a strawberry ice bucket, and some other stuff. So good, more stuff to put out. There's some good collectible things and things people will like in here. So that is the front part of the house. Now the bedrooms, I understand and recall from my brief visit, are pretty disheveled. Okay, really disheveled. We're going to have some work to do here. I know there's sewing implements in the drawers. There's a lot of little boxed items that have never been out of the box. I think the resellers are going to have a field day with some of this stuff because there's bound to be things that have a little bit of value. I mean, this is from the Biltmore Estate Centennial, and who knows, it costs $13 new. Does that mean it's worth $4 now or $40? That's something we have to find out. Bag clips, of course, that's a great place to keep them. And a bunch of scrubber sponges, so you never know what will be in drawers in a house like this. But here's some more of the Botanic Garden pieces. And these seem to be just wrapped to look like packages. A little odd. Some postage stamps in here. Couple of mid-20th century steins, nothing that looks like it's outrageously valuable. In here we've got gift wrap, we have coasters, we have more gifts and gift wrap, and more gifts and gift wrap. Interesting. Nice little French bergère chair. Oh no, it doesn't have the padding on the arms, but it's still a nice carved French walnut chair. Someone will like that. Ah, this looks like an old hi-fi, because you can see this opens here, so it looks like we've got an old stereo, and they did leave a little jewelry. Interesting, we'll have to look. The Masonic jewelry oftentimes is gold, or at least partially gold. Sometimes just the Masonic symbol is the gold part. So that's something we'll have to look into. This looks like it's a Timex, which Timex are generally not very valuable. This one is also a Timex. But this is amber here. This is a nice amber ring. It looks like we have a bracelet. So it looks like they didn't take everything in costume jewelry. I bet what they did was they grabbed the things they thought looked obviously like gold and ran with it. We'll have to see if this one has a gold mark. It's lightweight, but that would still be nice to find some gold in here. This is Laguna simulated pearls at their loveliest. 1950s were big for pearls, and you can tell 50s because the backings tend to be fancy because women started having short hair. And when women cut their hair shorter, they had to have a nice clasp on the back. Before that, it didn't matter because you weren't seeing the clasp. Oh, the spots made me think this was going to be a Nancy Ann storybook doll, but it's actually just a bowl. A little bit more jewelry here. I'm happy to see any. I wasn't really expecting to see any. So I guess that's all right. Abbey clock made in Ireland. Well, this is going to be Waterford, I suspect. Or Shannon Crystal, but I think it's going to be Waterford because it's, I believe Abbey was one of their patterns. Let's see if we can get this out. It's fun doing this with one hand while I'm filming, but I think I can manage. Okay. Timepieces, Waterford Crystal, and it is in a nice little bag. This has never been used, apparently. And there it is, with the label and everything. So that's a nice find. Hopefully we'll find more of this quality of stuff in these little boxed items that are all over the place. Christmas drape. Oh, a bunch more jewelry boxes. And these feel... yeah, I bet these are empty. I bet these are the ones that went with the jewelry folks. So they got most of it, but they left us a few things. And then, who knows what's in this? We've got a little piece of brain coral sitting on top of a 1913 Troyad. Oh, no, 1913 must be when Troyad started to be made, because these people are dressed more like 1950s era. And this is the sophomore class of 1947. Yep, that makes more sense. So 1947, I like the bat and the horseshoe. Old yearbooks are fun. They sell sometimes. And I think this is actually local to this area. And then who knows what's in all of this? I don't really have time to look today. I see a boxed lighting set. I see a water hose, one of those seeper hoses in the original packaging. Somebody just sort of went all topsy-turvy on this. There's an interesting art piece on the back wall here. These folks who are traveling through, it looks like maybe Mongolia. The colors are interesting and the scene is interesting. And then this is all done using yarn embroidery, it looks like to me. Let's see what else we have here. A Christmas boot, things in a drawer we haven't seen yet. Here's a quilt. Now this quilt is a traditional pattern, but right away I see avocado and harvest gold. So this is going to be something that was put together in the 1970s. It's got little spools of thread in the pattern there. That's kind of cute. Do we have any other quilts? No. Oh, but that looks like it might be vintage right there. Nope, it's Sag Harbor. It just has a vintage look. Used to be you could look in a closet and spot the vintage clothes, and now so many of those styles are coming back that you kind of have to look a little bit. And then what in the world are these big boxes? It looks like boxed Santas and other Christmas critters, so we will have a big Christmas and holiday display somewhere. That might end up going in the garage. There is a garage here as well. Okay, so boy, a lot of work to do in this. I think these are old and were framed up later, and so you've got this marbled matting that looks like a 1980s mat, but I believe these plates look more like 1910s or 20s. All right, the next room, let's see what we have in here. Yeah, this one's heaped high too. Well, we've got a lot of work to do. I'm glad they gave me the key a little early. There's a cedar chest here. Looks like somebody was diving for blankets at one point. There's a nice wool one on top here with a pattern of some sort. That could be neat. This looks like the one that Laura Caldwell got and brought to the antique show in Portland, where we all guessed what the pattern was on it. And let's see, we've got an Afghan, a little different color and with an arched edge. That's sort of an unusual design. Nice old linen there. Some just functional linens. I don't see any more quilts, which I was hoping I would. Ooh boy, mothball smell. Woo, got a face full of that. Okay. Oh, there's one little sewn blanket there. That's cute. Nice desk here. We'll see what's in the desk first. Looks like a lot of this has been empty. Maybe that's why the beds are so piled high. This may be something that they did when they were going through looking for paperwork and things, because this woman passed rather suddenly, and so I don't think that they were particularly set up for this. With these kind of landscapes, we do look up the artist, because something that looks sort of nicely done but not amazingly painterly can turn out to be a good listed artist. There's one that I found in Washington a bunch of times, but he primarily painted desert landscapes, and his paintings that are similar in quality to this go for a few hundred each, so we will look into that. A very low ladies rocker with a very 1970s reupholstery job. These must have been parents or grandparents. The official monitor of the Grand Lodge of Masons, Illinois, 1916. Lots of little things we'll have to go through in drawers. Little things can add up to big money, depending. One thing I find in St. Petersburg at a lot of estates, besides these sort of compasses and desk things that you find at every estate, are these very cute dog tags. The dog tags here were done like fire hydrants, dog bones, bells. They would change them year to year, and they're just kind of cute. And there's a few collectors of those. Here's one that's a dog house. I just think those are fun. A hanky, some chopsticks and scissors. This is older. Is this a sewing kit? Why, yes. Well, that'll be fun to go through because, you know, sometimes you'll find some neat old sewing stuff, especially if something was handed down from a Victorian grandparent. You might find sewing birds, you might find chatelaine pieces. Sometimes there's good surprises in sewing kits. Yes, there will be a lot of work to do here. I'm going to start on this officially tomorrow in terms of my work here so that I can get a little bit of a handle on it before my crew come in. I need to be able to kind of get an idea of what I think needs to be done so that I can direct people. I like her tennis shoes. They seem to be covered in sea life. Those are fun. Those will definitely sell. People like stuff like that. Here's some more old family photos, and again, because she left no heirs, these will sell, and that is just adorable. That nice metal convex frame should be from about 1905, 1910. The little girl looks a little nonplussed by having to stand for that picture, but it's very cute, and I imagine she probably grew up to be one of those ladies above. Oh, here's a whole bunch of stuff wrapped in bubble wrap. Looks like maybe miniature horses. I'd be really happy if they were Dala horses from Sweden, because one of my crew members that's going to be helping me loves Dala horses from Sweden. And here's a bunch of clothes with the labels still on. It's a shame that clothing is so difficult to sell in Florida, because this is Alfred Dunner. It's a decent brand. They're in great shape because they've never been worn. There's some fun patterns. I hope we get some people who are interested in this. Florida is a really good place to come shop for clothing if you're clothing folks in resale. And a bunch of shoes in there. Looks like another vacuum cleaner. I see boxes in the corner that look like they are full of little things that haven't really been touched. So this will be fun. This is what we like to see. And, you know, I'll leave some of this for my crew to go through. I don't need to be the one to discover everything. First of all, my crew are very honest, so they're going to tell me if they find interesting things. And honestly, it makes it more fun for them. I like them to have some discovery, too. Here's some old correspondence. A neat old, looks like almost sewn in birch bark. Oh, it is birch bark and paper. Oh, that's really neat. Little autograph book or something. So again, I'm going to let my crew have some fun with some of this and go through it. This looks like it's little wickets from a game hidden in there. So we'll leave this for them. But I have a feeling there might be something in that cedar box down there. All right, so what else do we have? Well, there are a couple more rooms. Let's go out to the outer deck here. This sale is going to be the fourth weekend, because New Year's weekend was the first weekend of January. So the fourth weekend of January is when this sale will be held. If you're in the St. Pete area, please come, because it looks like there's going to be some great stuff here. And everything has to go, including all the patio and deck furniture, all the potted plants. Even this big guy here will be for sale. What I always do is block off access to the pool deck itself for safety's sake, but this is easy because it's elevated, so this is going to make it really simple. We'll even sell the porch swing there. We don't sell the pool tools. We don't sell the metal that they use as hurricane shutters. Certain things in Florida have to stay with the house, but we will have a lot of room to spread things out here, and it's very well covered and it's weatherproof, which is great because that means I can put books out here, you know, for a short period of time. You don't want to have them out for a long period of time because there's, you know, the dew point and humidity to worry about, but we'll be able to put excess books. I have a clothing rack. We may be able to move some of the clothes out there so that people can see them better and we're more likely to sell more. So that's a good thing. And then, of course, that's all providing that the garage isn't so full that we end up having to use... Aw, look how sad. So that we don't end up having to use the area for things that we find in the garage. But let's see what's in the garage, because I haven't done anything other than dump a couple of tables off here. Big pile of towels and linens. Oh my, a file cabinet. And it's full of who knows what, so we'll spend some time on this. I always go through anything that says travel, because it could be old brochures, it could be old tickets from airlines or trains that no longer run. I don't think we need to worry about medical records and things like that particularly. Oh, and here we go. Travel folios from all over the place, so we might end up with a big table full of ephemera. Bogota, West Germany and East Germany. Now see, here we go. East Germany isn't East Germany anymore, so here we have all these things that will talk about what it was like during the Soviet era, and people will find that interesting, I'm sure. Then we have West Germany, and there's lots of postcards and things. England, some old photos from England. Interesting. Denmark, France, Hungary, Italy. So she was very well traveled, and there's going to be some things in here that I suspect will be fun for somebody. So that's a great thing to find. Let's see what else we have in this file cabinet. Now that I've seen one interesting thing, I want to see if there's more. The Evening Independent, that is a newspaper that hasn't published in St. Petersburg for years, so that might sell just for local interest. Oh, heavy. These look like a lot of folders full of paper, but this could be photos, so we'll take a look at those too. This is about 1950, this cabinet here, and it's got this interesting chinoiserie effect here. Even though it's likely to be an American-made piece, I see old scrapbooks. Now, scrapbooks in Florida sometimes have had a really hard life. Bugs get to them, they get humid, but old scrapbooks, depending how old, could have really great stuff in them. I found the letterman's letter for someone who was on the Olympic rowing team in 1948 in a house. It was worth $100, and it was in a scrapbook that was priced $5 at an estate sale. So I have learned from my experience as a buyer to look through these things before we put them out. We're not just going to put $5 on a scrapbook and let someone walk off with thousands of dollars in Victorian trade cards, potentially, for example. We've got a box here full of stuff, so, ooh, boy. Oh yeah, there's just going to be a ton of interesting things. So maybe I'm putting shelves in the garage might be used for one thing, and then we might put tables in here in order to have room to spread out paper for people to look at. And then there's a bunch of regular garage items I see here. This is all recycling. I was already told there was a big pile of recycling in the garage. I see a few old Crocs. I see more personal care items, baskets. Up on top there, what's that I spot? Is that a savory? Ah, yes it is. In the white enamelware. These were big roasting pans that were very popular in the 1920s and 30s. You see them in a lot of houses. A bread making machine. Looks like there's a shark that's never been out of its box. Boxed items do sell well. Resellers love them. Because, you know, if it's in a box already, then hey, you've got everything you need. Ouch. Oh, this has been covered so long that actually the table's in good shape, and it's a Formica table, kind of a plain color, but that'll be useful and probably sell. In this case, the appliances are staying with the house because they're newer and fresher. Sometimes when they're a little older, they'll actually have us sell the appliances in the house. And I can't even venture what's in those cupboards, but I guess we will have more to look for when we get out here, because that's going to be a job just to get to that. And we've got a few tools, so kind of the usual things. It's easy to forget side yards, but sometimes people put good stuff in side yards, so let's go take a look real quickly. Okay, this side yard, no, that's pretty rusted out, and there's the patio umbrella, some old planters, a very old patio umbrella. These paver bricks will sell to somebody, and edging bricks and things like that, so we'll probably move those out where they can be seen. But this other stuff, that'll be left for the clean out crew. Oh, and look, there's an old globe. Let's see how old. Vietnam is 1 country. Korea is 2 countries. So this is going to either be after 1975 or before the 1960s. Africa is divided up. Germany is still countries, 2 countries, so, and the USSR is still the USSR, not Russia, etc. So I think we are looking, in this case, 1970s. And that's old enough to sell for something, because people do like old globes. So there's our walk around. My hair's almost dry. I guess that means it's time to go to work, but I will be starting on this, and I can't wait to show you the progress and what happens at the estate sale. It's so much fun to share estate sales with you, because this is something that I do occasionally, and it's always just such an exploration. There's things to discover. The sale event is interesting and fun, and the people are all excited, and I get to meet a lot of resellers. I also get to have a lot of fun just digging through and finding things and putting it together and figuring out how to merchandise. I've got a good crew that's helping me with this one, so I'm excited, and I can't wait to show you how it goes. In the meantime, I'm George the Antique Nomad. Check me out at the social media links that you see below or in the description. Check me out also at theantiquenomad.com. I'm caught up with appraisals, so I am taking on new appraisal work for those of you who need it. I also will be planning on coming to you live. I wanted to do some lives from this house as I was setting up the sale, but the reception isn't very good, so it's unlikely I'll get to do that. But we'll have other content soon on the Antique Nomad Live. And, well, we'll just have fun somewhere in the midst of all these shows, all these sales, and all these things I'm doing. We'll just have a good time and get together again soon. So we'll see you then. Bye-bye now.
Thanks for joining me again in the fun and fascinating antique community here where online meets the real world. Please click the subscribe button below, click the bell to be notified when new videos upload, leave a comment below, and hit thumbs up to like this video. Links to our online social media and our items for sale are in the description. This is George at the Antique Nomad. Bye for now.